Hey, what's up everyone? This is Snackbox. Hope you all are having a great day. Guys, in this video, I want to show you my team that I used this week for the Chimera clan boss, where I tried to get as many mythical mats as possible. Yeah, I actually built my Toshiro now, and I used him the first time. Now, if you look at these points right here, you might notice a little difference, and the reason for that is that I accidentally saved this bottom key where I wiped at like turn 50 or something on the line form. And yeah, that was pretty unfortunate. My CF got nuked by the line form. Yeah, I wanted to regroup and I don't know, I was just clicking too fast and I saved my key. So that's why there's such a big difference between those two keys. But the upper key, that's what it would normally look like. So yeah, the first time I used Toshiro, he's pretty amazing, I have to say. At first, I was kind of like a little bit unimpressed for some reason, but as soon as I, stacked up his stats with his A2, he deals a lot of damage. And the first time I tried it, I actually used Necmo instead of Lammasu, but I came to the idea of just swapping Necmo out with Lammasu because Lammasu is basically doing similar debuffs, but I already have the leech from Toshiro in this team. That basically allows me to bring Lammasu in, and I'm not losing any debuffs, but I'm also gaining, a little bit more control of resetting cooldowns and who's going to take the next turn and so on, which really helps if you want to target a few trials, right, that require you to take turns with specific champions, and Lammasu is actually great for that, right? So yeah, I'm really starting to like Lammasu in Chimera, and I think paired with Toshiro and Mikage, this is actually pretty amazing. Also, you have to consider that we have the Force Affinity right now in the Chimera rotation, so Toshiro is actually doing not that much damage on the ultimate form. But yeah, on the alternate forms, he has the magic affinity, the Chimera has the magic affinity, so there's no problem at all to complete those trials. So I got 16 trials done. I think this is also the maximum amount of trials I can do. 233 million damage, and it's actually a little bit unlucky. I needed like 170 million more clash points, and I would have got the 8 billion clash points reward, the gemstones. But yeah, I was short because of this other key where I misclicked, but yeah, it is what it is. Now, let's talk about the gear. So basically, I geared Toshiro with the same gear that I would use on Ninja. So basically just stacking attack, right? The good thing about Toshiro is that his skills also scale of HP, so they are scaling off of two stats, attack and HP. Ninja would definitely work in this team as well, but then you would have to bring in Necmo instead of Lammasu because Necmo is bringing that leech. With Ninja, you are actually losing the leech if you just swap out Toshiro, but he also brings HP burn, which I don't have in here. Now from this run, I got 17 mythical mats. And now let's talk about the trials actually. So on the RAM form, we are able to get a total amount of 9 mythical mats. And for the trials number 2, we need increased accuracy, we need weaken, we need increased crit rate or increase crit damage and deal damage. And then we need weaken and decrease defense and then damage the Chimera for 750k with one single skill. And that is fairly easy to do if you have a hard-hitting champion like Ninja, Toshiro, and so on. You could also do it with Marius, but then you need to be lucky on Slayer procs. You need a 9-piece Slayer set on a Marius to be able to do this trial right here. The Slayer procs, they don't count as max HP hits and they can actually complete this trial. For trials number 3, we need decreased defense on the Chimera and perfect veil on our damage dealer. And, we are lucky with Toshiro, he can buff himself with perfect veil on the A1. Ninja does it too with his A2, right? So that is actually pretty amazing. Then we need to place 6 unique debuffs and 6 unique buffs. We definitely can do that. And then block 7 stuns using block debuffs, intercept, or stone skin. And this is probably one of the trickiest trials to do, because we need to complete the first 2 in the first cycle to be able to complete the hard one in the second cycle, because the chimera is only trying to stun you like twice with an AoE skill during a single cycle, so you can't really complete it in the first run, right? You have to wait until the second time you face the ram form. But in the first cycle, you actually have to complete the first 2. Otherwise, it won't be possible for you to get this trial done. And with Lamassu, it was actually pretty amazing that I could reset some of the skills. For example, Siffy's block debuffs, and then just time it perfectly. Also, I had to pay attention to not putting the fear debuff on the ramp form unless the skills were on cooldown, because I don't want the fear to proc when the chimera needs to use the skills. Then on the line form, these are probably the easiest trials to do. Here we need to damage the chimera within 3 of its turns while your champions are under 5 unique buffs. We definitely have 5 unique buffs in this team. And yeah, Toshiro is not a max HP damage champion. And then we need to damage the chimera while it is under decreased speed and decreased defense. We do have those debuffs as well. And then counterattacks and ally attacks. Mikage and Toshiro can get this trial done with like one hit. But not only them, Ninja can do it too. Harima can do it as well. And by the way, Harima might be actually pretty good for this rotation, because she doesn't weak hit. She's force affinity. We have magic and force affinity right now on the chimera, so Harima is actually pretty amazing. But unfortunately, she doesn't hit quite as hard as Toshiro and Ninja, but therefore she doesn't weak hit. Then on the Viper form, we can get another 8 mythical mats, and for that we need to damage the chimera with poison debuffs while it is also under poison sensitivity. And I ignored this whole trial chain because I wasn't able to fit it into my team. I do have a Balar, but it's so hard to do this because you actually need to do the same thing here as we have to do on the Ram form. We have to complete the easy and the normal trial in the first run. And to do that, you need to complete the poison one within 1 turn. So from turn 25 to 26, we will go into the Viper form. Then on 26 to 27, that's when we already need to complete this poison trial, because we need to survive 3 of the Chimera turns, of the Viper turns. And that means turn 27, turn 28, and turn 29, because turn 30 is not a complete turn of the Viper form, and therefore it doesn't count towards this trial. And if you want to do the hard one, you actually have, or it makes it so much easier to get the first 2 done in the first cycle, and then kill one of, or like let the Chimera kill one of your champions before you go into the Viper form. So you have your revive ready, and then you can pick up your champion during the Viper form cycle. You don't have the Viper form, using skills and all that. You can still control the Viper form, because if you control the Viper form, it won't be able to kill your champions. So it's really tricky. You really have to, get those first 2 done before you go into the second cycle of the Viper. So one cool thing with Toshiro is that you can actually, just swap forms with him during the second Ram form, and he won't kill himself if you have Leech on the Ram form, which is pretty amazing, because I really want all my champions to be up and have the block debuffs, so I can block those stun debuffs, which I need to do for the hard trial. And that really makes it so much easier. In the second cycle, I wasn't really trying to do damage. I was just, trying to get this trial done. And, having your damage dealer swapping into a form where he can't kill himself from reflect damage is pretty amazing. So that really helped. So yeah, in the end, as I said, I was a little bit short of the 8 billion clash points in total, right? I got 4.9, and I needed like 5.1 billion to reach the 8 billion. If I wouldn't have messed up my other run, it would be absolutely no problem. But here you can see the 4.9 billion clash points, 233 million damage. Also, I don't have, Brimstone in this team, for example. If I would have a Lamasu Soul, I would probably give her Brimstone, and that would actually push my damage a little bit more. But yeah, I just gotta wait and see if I can pull one. And yeah, these are the mats that I got: 42 rare, 32 epic, 6 legendary, 17 mythical, and then 2 gemstones as well. So I ran Ultra Nightmare twice. That's 34 mythical mats in total, which is not a bad week, to be honest. The most amount of mythical mats I got so far on my account are 20, and yeah, 17 is a good average for me. Now, how could I improve this? In terms of damage, I could probably give Lamasu a Feral, a 9-piece Feral set as well. That would be an additional 10% or sometimes 15%. More so 10% damage because Lydia has block buffs as well. So yeah, that would probably be one way how to improve this. But I really liked the 2 impulse sets on Lamasu. I resetted the skill, the A3, so many times. And yeah, it really helped. Now I want to show you a team that can get 25 mythical mats. That's the total amount on Ultra Nightmare. And this is from MrSmurk. He's on the RSL Leaderboards Discord. So if you guys are not aware of this Discord, feel free to check it out. It's pretty amazing. A lot of people post their scores there, and you can learn a lot just by seeing what other people are doing, right? So yeah, he got 25 mythical mats with Senna, Mikage, Firo, Riho, and Bala. Actually pretty amazing. Also fairly hard to do because Bala can actually weak hit, and that can be a real problem and cause you to miss the trial, the poison trial, right? But the cool thing here is that if you go into the Viper form, Riho will actually reflect the poison sensitivity and the poisons. So all you have to do is basically extend those poisons with Lady Mikage and then activate them with Balar, which is pretty amazing. It's a pretty cool strategy. And I've seen it before, but not in this constellation. I saw it with, Riho and Theodore. And the cool thing about Theodore is that he can place decreased speed with his A1, so you can build a different team around it. Also, MrSmurk here used Balar as his main damage dealer, and Balar is not really known for hitting hard. If you would use Theodore, you would actually have to bring in another damage dealer, right? A lot of people are using Fina, Galathier, Riho, Theodore, and then the damage dealer. So pretty amazing to see a team without Fina. Obviously, Senna is also kind of a cheat code for Chimera, but pretty cool to see that a team with Senna as well can get 25 mats. And Senna actually allows you to build your champions so much slower because you get so much more turn meter from her. And this is actually pretty amazing. So we got the ally attacks from Lady Mikage. We got also ally attacks on the revive from Senna, I think. We have the perfect whale from Firo. Riho has the block debuffs and all these other debuffs. Decrease attack, decrease speed, decrease defense, and so on. And Balar with the poison activation and poison sensitivity and increase accuracy. So yeah, pretty cool team. I'm pretty impressed. I'm actually missing 2 out of those 5 champions, and that's both voids, both void legendaries. Riho was actually a guaranteed back in the day, but I don't know. I just skipped that for some reason. I don't think I had enough void shards. But yeah, Senna is definitely on my list because she's just such a great champion for Chimera. And if you're interested in the stats, MrSmurk was so kind to share them with me so I can show you guys. So 369 speed on Senna, the fastest champion, obviously. 357 speed on Mikage in a Relentless and 4-piece Merciless set. Senna in a 9-piece protection set, for all the continuous heals to be protected. That gives Belar more damage. Then you have the Relentless and 4-piece Merciless set on Mikage to reduce cooldowns, get extra turns. 9-piece Feral set on Feral for more damage. 9-piece Feral set on Riho for more damage. And then Belar in a 6-piece Merciless and a Zeal set, and probably 1 piece of Feral for more accuracy. And as you can see right here, Belar is actually super slow. Like 191 speed is actually insanely slow for Chimera, especially Ultra Nightmare. And yeah, that's basically because Senna is enabling that, right? She's boosting so much turn meter that you can build your damage dealer so slow and just stack up more attack and crit damage. And to be honest, the attack is nothing crazy. The crit damage is also nothing crazy. He has a 2-star soul, so it's not really out of this world, these stats, this build, right? But yeah, kind of amazing to see. And then the Ireti Coronet, obviously one of the best relics to boost your damage. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed this content, please leave a like. It really goes a long way. Also, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more raid content. Let me know in the comments below if you have some ideas how we can get more mythical mats, maybe different teams. Maybe there's still a comp we didn't think about or haven't seen. As you can see, people are coming up with new teams, and it's pretty amazing to see. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. The YouTube algorithm is going to suggest you a video that you might like right here. And yeah, see you in the next one.